I went there, just caused carnage. But normal police didn't turn up at my house. Like, robbery squad or something turned up. Like, he turned up here with gold spinners on his Astra, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Shaving foam all over his body, naked and that, and just like trying to like get on top of you or something. Like, when you're playing for City, everybody thinks to themselves, nah, this boy's, you know what I mean? But my mum's still buying my tracksuits and that, do you know what I mean? I know Shez is bubbling, do you know what I mean? I know he just wants to go off. I played on the fucking Neil Lennon, he's coming down on people differently. he's looking to DDT motherfuckers in the streets. Young boys now that are listening to this, like 20, they'll be like shocked, but listen, you know this shit used to happen, do you know what I mean? And it's fucked. Dave, I had Dave untold. Dave, yeah, shot from the halfway line against Southampton and never seen a Wolves shirt again.
Gentlemen, before we start this week, a quick message from our sponsors for this week's episode. You know who it is, don't you?
I'm pretty sure because all the merchandise is on the...
The champions of male grooming.
Ah, excellent, Chris.
I like what you've done there.
Champions League and that, isn't it?
Very, very good.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Oh, God, I don't want to see that.
Oh, dear me.
Yes, Manscaped, sponsoring the episode once again. And we've got all the gear.
Proper gear.
It wants like light beckoning out there, doesn't it, as you open it?
That is the one. The nose picker.
An hour and so with that, couldn't you? Quite comfortably.
Very easily.
There's a couple of stragglers in here.
There will be, aye.
Yes, for all those who aren't aware, Manscaped, the new performance package. We've all got one, haven't we? We've got glistening testicles.
Absolutely. Let's have a look.
Maybe later. Yeah, the performance package has got the new. This is the 4.0. And if you don't know what it is, it keeps you. It's all for trimming around the balls, up and above.
I always thought, how could they improve on the Lawnmower 3? But somehow
Oh, they have done, haven't they?
they've bloody nailed it.
If you get the performance package, you get the 4.0, the lawnmower. You get the weed whacker, does the old nose and the ears, keeps them in good shape.
Wash bag.
Wash bag, you've got to keep it in something, haven't you?
The boxer shorts, Johnny.
Boxer shorts
you
are very
can vouch
comfortable. Yeah, very. I don't wear many pair of boxer shorts, but they are very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes as well with the formulas.
Oh, lotions and potions.
I feel like a wizard. I feel like a wizard when I get them out.
Get the old sausage roll.
To be fair, I left mine on the bedside table, and the missus, 13-year-old, said, "What on earth are those?" And she picked it up and she's like, "Ball deodorant." Says, "Well, it's not. It's for your mum as much as me."
But yeah, you get the toner and the deodorant, so you can iron them creases out with the toner, and then slap it up with a bit of smellies. No nicks, no snags, and what I didn't know, 90 minutes that battery's got.
No.
I had to charge it twice before I finished.
You could be the only person in England who's actually run out of battery doing one foul swoop.
It's all good gear, and even the wash bag. It's premium leather, Chris. Smell it.
What have you had in there? But obviously, when we're watching the show, we've got an offer. 20% off. All you've got to do is go to manscaped.com, put in the code Cosh at checkout, and you get 20% off. Thank us later. So how long have you been finished now?
About, I know I've not come out and said it, but about 2 years, to be fair. Probably just when the pandemic kind of hit. So 2020 was when my contract finished at Mansfield. And then that was like when the first lockdown. And then we're just kind of going through a similar lockdown last year where the gyms and that was shut and that. But my head was somewhere else, to be fair, at the time. And I just thought to myself, nah, like to get myself back in that condition, it would take so much. It takes so much out of me. Yeah, it takes so
Keep
much.
off the steak bakes.
Oh man, the steak.
Where's that come from?
Do you know what it? Do you know what it is? With that, I always used to banter people, right, and be like, about their weight, and I just always like grab the little thing, and I'd be like, it's a little bit of steak there, and I always used to do it like fucking about. So then I got to an age, and I started putting on a little bit of weight. So the kind of the joke got reversed onto me. So I was like, fucking hell. So then I just embraced it. I found it dead funny, do you know what I mean? And then obviously, like, I'd just call anybody that was kind of like had a bit of weight on them at work, I'd just call them steak bacon, that, and then obviously they'd call it me, and it just kind of stuck, and it's just grown and grown.
I spoke to Lonners, and I just said anything to report, and he just would ask him how much he used to love body fat day.
Oh, mate, it's so
body
fun.
fat testing.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like, because don't get me wrong, like when I turned 25, before that I was fine. Like, and got to 25, and I started holding a bit more weight. And then I
started about 22, me, mate.
Did you?
Oh, fucking hell.
Are we interrupting you, John?
Sorry. Where? Sorry.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, just obviously then I think it got to a certain point where I couldn't get rid of the weight, do you know what I mean? Or I found it a lot harder to get rid of the weight. And then as soon as I started finding it harder to get rid of the weight, I was kind of becoming conscious of it myself. And then I'd fight to get it off. So I'd find it dead funny knowing, not funny, but you know, I'd get onto other boys, but we had like Paddy Kenny and that. Paddy was. He'd come
Paddy fit.
Yeah, he'd come out the shower. I watched the Paddy one as well, to be fair, of yours. Paddy'd come out the shower and there was a long walk. And he had, he'd always put his towel up there, but the walk was far where Paddy would be walking from. And I'd always be like, Paddy, why is your towel up so high up? He'd be like, fuck off you, fuck off. He used to hate it.
Hiding his guts.
Yeah, like, I swear, it was like, you know how a woman comes out there, man, all the time.
With the top knot on as well.
Yeah, all right, mate. He's a great guy, to be fair, Paddy. He was only there for a short period of time. I think he was only there for about 3 or 4 months, but what a guy to have around the place, man.
Yeah, good lad, innit?
Ledge, man.
16 clubs.
Yeah.
Good going, innit?
He's all right. I'd rather done good. I'd rather had a stinker, do you know what I mean? And they got rid of me, so it was one of the two, do you know what I mean? But so I would have liked to have stayed probably more, had like probably just a little bit more of a settled career, but it happens, you know what I mean? I'm glad that I had the career at the end of the day. You know, some people don't even get 2 or 3 clubs and they're done by 23, so to make it to like 34, you know, with that many clubs. And there were some good clubs in there as well, do you know what I mean? Some places that I really enjoyed my time there.
Barnsley.
Yeah, Barnsley was good. Apart from when they started giving me loads of abuse and all.
If you're not performing,
like,
mate, we're going to fucking get on it.
Do you know what it was? Yeah, towards the end, like my time there, I'd done well there. Do you know what I mean? And it was the club was was down near the bottom of the league, and just before, probably in the September or the October, like got to a point, and the manager pulled me and he's like, "Listen, like, what do you want to do moving forward?" The manager was Keith Hill at the time. I got on really well with him. And I just said, listen, like, to be honest with you, like, he said, the club want to offer you a new contract, but we're only going to be able to give you probably about $1,500 more. And I thought I was underpaid anyway, do you know what I mean, for what I was doing. And I just wanted to be brought into line with people that are in the league. And I said, listen, to be honest with you, like, I'm not going to take that, do you know what I mean? And he turned around to me and he's like, I don't blame you, like, you've done well, do you know what I mean? You deserve to get the going rate.
Fair play from him then, really.
Yeah, he was good, man. Him and Dave Flitcroft were really good. I really liked working for them, and they was honest. I always felt, at first I didn't really, probably the first 3 or 4 months I went to Barnes, I didn't really like them because I felt like it was getting onto me a little bit, but they was just doing it to help me, do you know what I mean? And towards the end, like I said, the fans didn't know this, but the club hadn't actually offered me like the deal concrete, so I hadn't signed nothing, and it was coming to the January, and then I just think like somebody upstairs was just like threw it to the papers that I wasn't going to sign a new deal, but you hadn't actually offered me nothing. The fans just went nuts, and they was just like literally...
Giving you stick.
Yeah, like... I remember one time I almost had a fight in the car park with one of the geezers, with one of the fans, because he come up to me and I'm walking out. I think we played Blackburn. Yeah, we played Blackburn, we'd just been beat. And he just like, you don't want to be a fuck off. And he just come right in my face, and I just thought, I just grabbed him and I was like, I just pinned him against the car. Like, who the fuck are you talking to?
You don't fuck about in Barnsley, mate.
Nah, but he shit it, and his mate shit it as well. They both shit it at the time. They was just like kind of looked at me. I think they was a little bit shocked because they didn't expect me to react like that. But you know what it's like when you've had a shit game, like...
Last thing you need, isn't
yeah,
it?
you just don't want people coming over and just giving you it. And you come too close to my liking, man, so...
They proper shit the pants.
The geezer?
Yeah,
he's small, man, like... do you know what I mean?
I can imagine it's one of them afterwards, like after you've got in your car and they're like driving just out of the car, but yeah, I told you, didn't I? I told you.
By the way, you went for a phone call or something?
No, I'm just watching this race. We've not started, have we? Have we started? You're joking? Oh, fuck me, we're not doing intro, are we? Sorry, lads.
I told him on the way down as well.
I didn't know it started. Fuck me, John.
How did the move to City come about then?
As a child?
Yeah.
So like, I was playing for Shrewsbury at the time, and I'd done quite well for I think it was like the under 14s and 15s at the time, and then somebody just come and they was like, "Oh, you got Welsh and you haven't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." My granddad was Welsh, and my granddad used to take me everywhere, like take me to all my games and that. So I was like, "Yeah." So it's like, they've got some trials up and coming, like we want you to come down. So I went through to do the trials, and then I got first. I just thought to myself, like, I'll go there. Like, this ain't gonna happen. Got through a couple of trials, and before I knew it, I was in the Victory Shield side. Do you remember the Victory Shield?
Yeah.
So the Victory Shield side, and then I was kind of like, Shrewsbury wanted me to sign like a contract then, and I was just kind of like, nah. Like, I was a little bit hesitant because I knew that most of the boys when I'm going away, they're at like Southampton, Everton,
bigger clubs, yeah.
And I think to myself, I'm better than these boys as well. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking like, nah, I'm gonna hold out here. And then I played in the Victory Shield, and then I had the chance to go to Leeds or City, and obviously Leeds at the time were massive. Like, they was like, obviously in the first team then, they was competing in the Champions League and that. Do you know what I mean? And I went there, and I didn't really like it as much. And I just didn't really feel comfortable there. I thought, like, because they all lived on like in a lodge together, and I just didn't really feel comfortable at the time, like with all these boys in a lodge. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, possibly have a couple of tear-ups here. Do you know what I mean? So I just thought, like, you know, like,
Did you feel it bubbling? Like, there were a
yeah,
few
like,
that
you know,
didn't
like it was like cliquey. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of Irish boys, and do you know what I mean? Like, they used to click together, and then there was a couple of local boys and whatnot. And I just thought to myself, nah, like, it's not really. I just didn't really feel that warmth there, and I just thought, nah, like, I know how I am. I just thought to myself, like, nah, like, I don't know if this is for me. But at the time, I would have taken it if City didn't come in. And then I went to City, and as soon as I went to City, I just felt like, nah, this is I like this. This is a bit of me. And obviously, City weren't like they are now. Do you know what I mean? But I went there, and there were some good lads there as well in the youth team, and I thought, nah, like, this is a bit of me. And then I ended up going there.
Did you have to move up there and stop in digs
like,
and that?
Yeah, so I went there at 15, like, literally left home, done my last year of school up there. It was, I look back at it now and I think to myself, like, it was a brave decision, do you know what I mean? Like, for a 15-year-old, like, I'd never really been away from home. I went there, just caused carnage. Just literally, like, nah, do you know what? Like, the first, when I was still in
We're
school.
trying to figure out why you've had 16 clubs.
Nah. Do you know what? To be fair, like, when I went there, it was fine at first. But then, when I finished school, obviously you have to finish school, do you know what I mean? Or like, I didn't really like school, I'm not gonna lie, I knew I was gonna play football. I knew I didn't like school. And then, when I had to go to college, I just hated it, and I just didn't see the point, do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking in my head, like, I don't need half of this stuff that, I've got what I need to get from school, got certain GCSEs and whatever. I don't need to go to college, I just want to play football. I just wouldn't go to college, and they'd just keep on pulling me. And
Point blank, but no, I'm not going.
like some days I'd go.
You're dicking about though,
yeah,
right,
like, so you'd do like a day and a half a week.
Day and a half, mate. They're not asking much.
Do you know what it was? I just didn't like it. I just did not like it. And I'm one of them people, if I don't like something, like, I'm not just
doing
gonna.
it.
So are you, but you know when you were like, you know when you were getting up on a morning and thinking, fuck, I'm not going to college today, are you not thinking, I'm going to get in bother here at the club?
Do you know what? To be fair, at the time, I didn't really care. You know what I mean? I just thought to myself, I was young. Do you know what I mean? I was quite talented. I just thought to myself, like, nah, like, I just want to play football. I'd go for a couple of weeks just to be cool, and then I just wouldn't go. Yeah, and then there was
Show a bit of willing.
Yeah, like to a degree, but I hated it. I didn't like it, and then obviously this went on for a couple of months, but then I had an injury at the time, so I'd missed like quite a bit of my first year through injury. And then me and one of the younger boys called Carlos Logan, I don't know if you might know his brother, Shaylin. Yeah, Shaylin was a little bit younger, 2 years younger than us. So Carlos would be like, come out. So then I started going out, and I got caught going out. And obviously I was too young to be going out anyway. I was like 16 or something like that.
How'd you get caught?
Are you going?
Like, yeah, like clubbing, do you know what I mean?
Proper?
Yeah, I was like 16, but I looked grown, do you know what I mean? I looked about 19. So like, me and Carlos would go out, but it was fine for Carlos because Carlos lived at home. So his mum, dad was never going to say, so if they was letting him go out, like, they wasn't going to grass him up to the club. where one time, like, the digs person just got onto me and they was just like, nah, they just, I said, she was cool at first with me going out. But then I think when I started going out a little bit more and a little bit more, I think she just thought to herself, and then she just told the club one time, and I think like a build-up of stuff, they was just like, nah, we don't need this. And then the kind of straw that knocked it on the head at the time, this makes it sound like I was a little shit, but I was to a degree.
Yeah, you're right, mate.
I got arrested at the last City game versus Man United because one of the fans tried to steal my tickets. Some old geezers tried to steal my, old, I was 16, it's probably about 38, 39. Obviously at the time, that's like a lifetime, like you're a big man, he tried to steal my tickets. So me and him are having a scuff over these tickets.
Where are you when you get, what's the scenario?
So what's happened is, a couple of the boys used to sell their tickets, It goes on, or it did go on back then. But you get good money for the tickets, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The last Man City, the last derby game at Main Road. So this guy said, I got somebody to buy your tickets. So I was like, cool, so I've got the tickets. And then
So you're not actually bothered about going to the game, you're just wanting
no,
your
you're
door.
selling them.
So I'm just like, because obviously I'm earning about £90 a week at the time. For 2 tickets, he's giving me £300. So I'm like, he's giving me £150 a ticket.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, like
A few nights out, that.
flipping out, it's good, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'll take that. So I've gone to give him the tickets now. So around like the side bit, he's just tried to steal the tickets off me, do you know what I mean? So I've grabbed him now. So I'm like, what are you doing? So he's got into an altercation now, but he's tried to rag me. But at 16, I'm quite a big boy, do you know what I mean? I'm probably about 6'1", do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I'm not having you steal them tickets off me. Like, no, I'm not having you steal the tickets. So me and him start getting into a little scuffle now, and I ended up on top of him. Obviously, all the police have seen is just me on top of him. So the police have come because there's loads of police around at the time because obviously the game.
Have you got your Man City tracksuit on here?
Nah, I've not got Man City tracksuit on. So then all of a sudden, I'm on top of him. The police have come over. They've just seen me on top of him. They probably think I'm a local boy causing problems, you know what I mean, with a football fan. So I'm like kicking off with them now, saying, hold on, why is he, like, next thing you know, this geezer just slips out.
With the tickets?
Like, he slips off, he's gone.
With the tickets?
Yeah. So I'm like kicking off now, because I'm kicking off about that as well. And I'm saying, hold on, how come you've got hold of me? I'm a boy. This is a big man. Like, at least get us both. Next thing you know, this geezer snuck off the back stick like some elite striker, right? With the tickets. I'm just there. Next thing you know, because I'm arguing with the police now, I think at first they probably wouldn't let me go because I'm fuming about that. I'm making it worse. Next thing you know, handcuffs. Somebody from the club's then seen me. Next thing I know, that was just like, that was like probably, I can't remember the month it was, but after that, I kind of just thought to myself, like, nah, I'm under a bit of pressure here. And then towards the end of the season, they were just like, nah, I still had time left, still had like 2 years left. They was like, nah, like, I'll give you a little bit of money, but we want you to go, like, type thing.
So basically, your behaviour got you kicked out of the club?
Yeah, like at the time, but do you know what it was? It was a good learning curve, you know what I mean? And at the time, I don't really feel like, I feel like it's probably different with clubs now, do you know what I mean? But at the time, they had like welfare officers, but they didn't really give a shit, do you know what I mean? If I'm being honest with you, they didn't help me. They just
tick boxes, don't they, I think?
And that a lot of football clubs have these type of people. They can't relate to people, do you know what I mean? And then it's just like, oh, yeah, you know what? We'll brush you off and we'll get somebody else in. And that's what kind of happened, do you know what I mean? And I look now, and if anything, that's taught me so much grow, like, as I've got older, where I think to myself, like, I will never let these things happen to even younger players when I got older. I would always try and point them in the right direction. And that's
Get money up front for tickets first.
Yeah, 100%.
Take 3 or 4 of your pals when you're doing a deal.
Seriously? But like, I just thought to myself, like, at the time, like, I just felt like there was nobody really there that was kind of guiding me in the right direction. And like, it was a good, to be fair, I'm kind of glad it kind of happened because it kind of taught me a lot. Do you know what I mean? It did teach me a lot at the time.
So when you left, do you shit yourself a bit? Do you think, am I going to get another club? Is somebody going to be interested? Have you got the confidence?
To be honest with you, like, I had like 1 or 2 like offers. And at the time, I think, like, when you've been at such a big club, you're hearing some of the offers, you're a little bit heads up your arse at that age. You think you're probably better than you are. And I'm hearing certain things and that. And I went to Rushden and Diamonds. My agent was like, oh, like, go Rushden and Diamonds. Like, I know somebody there. they just got into League One. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, I was quite close to my agent. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll trust you. So I went there. So I'd just come from City. So I went there and I think I was there for about 6 weeks and ended up doing quite well. I ended up doing well for them. I think I scored about 6 goals in 4 games there. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'd done head tennis with the first team. I was shit at head tennis when I was younger.
I was shit all the way through, mate.
I got good towards the end.
Oh, no.
It took me about 10 years, but I was crap at head tennis. I was more like, when I was young, I was just legs, do you know what I mean? I could just run and nick a few goals. And we had to do it with the first team. And Brian Talbot was the first team manager at Rushden and Dimes at the time. So he was on the other team. He's pretty fit, decent at head tennis. And he done it with us, and I was having a stinker. And then he turned around and he was getting on to me a little bit, and I thought to myself, fucking hell, like I'd never really been around the first team manager either. So
It's not my game, this.
yeah, like I was thinking to myself, like it's a bit random, whatever. Carried on there for about another 2 weeks, and I'd scored another 2 goals in that time. So I thought, this is sewn up, this is in the bag, do you know what I mean? And then my agent rang me, he's like, yeah, they're gonna come back to me today and whatever decision. I was thinking, yeah, it's up to me whether I want to go there or not. Agents rang me back. I'll never forget. I was on the way to the park at the time to play football, and my agent just rang me and he's just gone, nah, they don't want to sign you. I was like, what? Turned around, he's like, nah, they don't want to sign you. I'm like, are you being serious? Are you actually being serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm better than what they've got. And he's like, nah, they don't want to sign you. Like, and he started going on, and my agent brought this head tennis thing. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he's like, yeah, basically, I think the way Brian Talbot had it, because he'd brought them from non-league up to League One, he kind of had the running of the club, and he was just like, nah, I don't want him.
Shit at head tennis.
I'm like, I'm not even going into the first team. I'm going to play for the under 18s or whatever, 19s at the time. I'm thinking, what are you on about? So like this time here,
can't be real.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, nah, like at the time I'm earning no money, but I wasn't even earning good money before that when I was earning £90 a week at City. But when you're playing for City, everybody thinks to themselves, nah, this boy's, you know what I mean? But my mum's still buying my tracksuits and that, do you know what I mean? No, it's the truth, she's buying me tracksuits and trainers still. So I'm coming back looking fresh. And they're thinking, nah, that boy over there plays for City. But they don't know my mum's buying my clothes still. So I'm thinking to myself, what on earth now? Like, I might as well just get a job, because some of my friends, they're doing whatever, they got jobs and they're earning £300 a week and whatnot. And I'm thinking, at the time, I'm like, they're working in a factory now. And even though at the time you think to yourself, you're not even thinking about factory, you're just seeing them. And I'm seeing them being able to do stuff.
Their mums not having to buy their own clothes.
Their mums are not buying their clothes, yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, like, nah, they're going like, I'm napper and that. And I'm thinking, if I go flipping in the local nightclub, I'm done for the month, do you know what I mean? I buy a pair of Reebok workouts and I'm done, do you know what I mean? So I thought to myself, like, so I said to my agent, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And he's like, listen, well, obviously it's emotion and a bit of pride speaking and that, do you know what I mean? Because I felt a little bit hurt from it, because I felt like,
especially scoring that many goals.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, I'd say I'll let you know when I've had a stinker, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest critic of myself, but I'd done well, do you know what I mean? And I knew I deserved to get it. He's like, listen, leave it with me, I'll sort something. So he comes back to me about a week later and he's like, listen, I've got Oxford for you. And I'm just like, nah, man, like, I don't know. I don't know if I can be bothered. He's like, listen, just go there. They're playing West Brom on Saturday. It's near your house. It's not too far. It's like 20 minutes away. He's like, go there, play, and it is what it is. So
is this in like an under 18, under 19 game?
Yeah, so it's just like a youth team game. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. Didn't take it serious. Went out on the Friday night with my friends. Literally didn't take it serious. My stepdad had to wake me up in the morning, get my sister dressed. My sister's about 6 at the time.
You out as well?
Yeah, I went out. Do you know, like at that point, I was just like, kind of like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
the Jamaican toddies?
The what? Nah, not them times there. Just a vodka and lemonade. You know? To be fair, I wasn't even on vodka and lemonades, and I was probably on brandy and cokes. Then after,
I'm surprised you never had any money left.
Nah, do you know what? Like I used to like dark alcohol when I was a little bit younger. Then I had got sick one time off it, and it just put me off dark alcohol. So I went there. My stepdad had to wake me up, take me there. And we went there, and I just thought, whatever. Do you know what? Got there. I had about 3 Red Bulls to wake me up, yeah. And I played unreal against West Brom. Played, you know, like my adrenaline was pumping, do you know what I mean? I played unreal. So my agent rang me back, and he's like, listen, he rang me probably about, I don't know, the game started at about 11 o'clock. He rang me about 3, and he's like, what the fuck did you do today? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, listen, like, I've had West Brom on the phone and the Oxford manager, like, he wants to sign you. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, they want you to play next Saturday, but they want to get something sorted. He's like, West Brom want you to go in and train with them next week. So I was like, fucking hell, West Brom, like, big club, do you know what I mean? Like, I can't remember at the time.
And quite local.
Yeah, and local. But he said, listen, and it always stuck with me, this, and this is why I've always got a lot of respect for, had the same agent all the way through my career. A lot of respect for him. He turned around to me and he says to me, listen, you could go to West Brom and you can just be another number. Or you can go to Oxford and within 6-7 months you can be in the first team.
What league were you in at this point?
League 2. So I was thinking to myself, I don't want to be a number. Do you know what I mean? I need to get given an opportunity, a proper opportunity. Even though at the time I didn't really feel like I was ready for men's football. Even though I was quick and I was strong, I didn't have the confidence to do that against men, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though I probably was stronger than most of the men at the time, I just didn't have the same confidence level to do it to men.
Unless they're trying to swipe your tickets.
Unless they're trying to swipe my ticket.
They're not fucking
no, I'm on about on the pitch. That's how it's different. But like, I thought to myself, like, you know what? I'm going to run with this Oxford thing. The manager seems really keen. So I end up signing.
Are you straight in with the first team?
No, I'm in with the youth team at the time. So the youth team signed me. And I got injured in the February. But it's the same. Like, I'd had this, like, my knee kept on coming out of its socket, my kneecap. So they said if it happened again, I'd need an operation. So I had to have this operation. So as soon as pre-season started, I just hit the ground running, and I got myself in the first team in August. So realistically, I'd been there probably about 3 or 4 months fit in the youth team the previous season. And then for about the first 6-7 weeks in pre-season, I managed to get myself in the first team.
Come back fit.
It's mad how that works, isn't it? You know, if you come back fit when you're younger, and they must think, fucking hell, he's looked after himself this summer.
First impressions, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll just fucking throw him in and see how he gets on.
So how old are you, and who's manager at this
Graham
time?
Ricks was manager at the time.
Right.
So he gave me my debut. And I think I'd played about 2 times under him. And then I ended up getting suspended under him, which kind of set me back for a couple of months.
Surely nobody wanted to buy fucking Oxford tickets.
Nah, I don't know if you remember this, but there's a situation that happened with Julian Alsop.
Yes.
So I was there and I was involved not involved like that, but like what happened was the first team at the time were lazy as fuck. They'd always nick our drinks and stuff like that. You know, like there was that culture in football, and then the first team players used to bully the youth team players and used to treat them like shit. Do you know what I mean? And like, even like when I first went to Oxford, I had a couple of run-ins with a couple of the first team players where it'd be like, he's got an attitude. No, I've not got an attitude. I'm sticking up for myself. There's a difference. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to let you violate me and do certain things. But obviously that was the way in football at that time. Do you know what I mean? And you just have to kind of accept it. And to a degree, I would accept it. But then there'd be a line. And if it crossed that line, I wouldn't have it. But basically, one of the youth team boys at the time, Julian Alsop, must have got him. I don't know if he asked for his drink or I don't know what he asked for something. I think it might have been his drink. And he told him to fuck off. Yeah. Julian was like...
A big old boy,
he was a big boy. Like, even now, I'm thinking to how big he probably was. Like, I was a fair size now, and I feel that, but he was still a big unit, you know what I'm saying? He's probably about 6'4", 6'5", big coat hanger shoulders, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and he used to just do wrong shit all the time. Like, all the time.
Like what?
Like, he'd just come in the physio room, just like, you know, like stupid shit, like, just shaving foam all over his body, naked and that, and just like trying to like get on top of you or something. Like,
He sounds very John Parkin-esque.
yeah, just mad shit. But like, basically, this youth team boy told him to fuck off. So he's like, you're gonna regret that. So this youth team boy was like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? He was a first year. So then, like, everybody all the youth team boys kind of knew not to really do that to Julian. There was only 1 or 2 maybe that'd stand up to him. Do you know what I mean? And he come in the changing room after, and he's like, this is probably about an hour later after their training session. He's like, where is he? But we all knew he was on about. And he's like, he's not here. And he's like, oh, he said to me, and there was 2 boys in my youth team. And he's like, go and get him. So we're like, all right, cool. So we've gone to find him now. Got him, brought him back in, like, oh, come, we're having a meeting in here. So he's hiding in the toilets, but it's near the door. So when the boys walked in the changing room, Julian's come out, so he's trapped.
You've brought him in?
Yeah, so we've just told, but we don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Right, so you're not part of the, the honey trap.
But we are.
The lures.
Yeah.
We are, though, do you know what I mean?
But we're unwilling, like, you don't really know.
Obviously, we're just thinking he's going to come in, he's going to get a couple of digs, and that's it, do you know what I mean? Like, we find that funny. Everybody find that funny, do you know what I mean? It was just the norm back in football then. So he's come in the changing room. But the youth team boys quite big, to be fair. So Julian's come in, and Julian's gone, what did you say, little fucker? So he's kind of gone over to him, charged over to him, grabbed him. But the young boy started fighting him back a little bit, tried to rag him back. Obviously, like, he's got boy strength. Julian's got man strength, do you know what I mean? There's a difference. So anyway, they start like having a little rag. And then he's gone on the floor. And then I think he's got his shorts, yeah, and he's tried to rip his shorts then, yeah. And then, like, it's just all taking place so fast, it's happening. He's ripped his shorts. So, like, we're all like, what the fuck? So the boy's crying, right? So the boy's crying, the young boy's crying. But we don't know. Obviously, we're thinking he's crying because he's just been kind of violated.
Yeah.
But you would have known growing up in football, yeah, maybe not to that level it takes place, but shit takes place like that. Not as bad as that. Do you know what I mean? Like, young boys now that are listening to this, like 20, they'll be like shocked. But listen, you know this shit used to happen. Do you know what I mean? And it's fucked. But he's there now. He's crying, but he's crying because he's done his fucking crew shit in the melee of them fighting. He's done his crew shit, but he's hurt. In his head, he's just hurt. He's hurt himself. Do you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't know why. He doesn't know what's happened. Obviously, the extent, that initial like laughing now is coming down. We can see he's upset, and we're like, "Raw, like that's a bit much." We all knew it was a bit much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Darren Patterson's come in. He's an Irish guy. He's like a Roy Keane type person. Like, do you know what I mean? He's on smoke. Like, he ain't gonna have it. And for us, we're like he used to protect us. Do you know what I mean? And he used to have to fight so much to get us, like, for us. You know what I mean? Because they would wipe the youth teams them times there at half of these clubs. And he come in and he's like, where the fuck is he? And we're like, I don't know. He's got charged around and he pinned Julian up. He's like, I ever fucking touch one of my boys again, I'll fucking kill you. And then we're all kind of like, still, next thing you know, bam, police are in. Like, it's just, it's gone from 0 to 100. Like, his parents, obviously at the time, like, you get older, you have kids. Do you know what I'm saying? So if somebody done that to one of your children,
this stuff goes off in a dressing room even back then, but that's next level stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's to the extreme, but do you know what I mean? Stuff was going on. Obviously, I've not been in changing room now for like 18 months or whatever, but that stuff wasn't going on then. But, you know, like, younger in my career, wild shit, not as bad as that. That's the worst I've seen, but used to happen. So next thing you know, the police are coming in. They want to know what's exactly happened. And because me and the 2 twins have brought him in and told him, we're obviously
implicated.
Yeah. So they suspended us until further notice. But at the time, they would have sacked us if I wasn't in the first, like, if I wasn't breaking through and they thought this boy's an asset to us. Do you know what I mean?
Shows how fickle it is, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's fucked. But even though, listen, I would never have let that happen. I brought him in if that was the case.
You just thought you were going to get a clip or something?
Yeah, we thought he was just going to get a slap, which is what happened. Do you know what I mean? That would normally happen. And then it was just like bam, bam, bam. Julian got sacked straight away. Me and the 2 twins got suspended. And then, like, it was literally, I come back in after my 2 weeks and I was just straight back with the youth team. Like, wasn't even near the first team. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, I haven't actually really done, like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was the lad afterwards.
Like, he was fine after, do you know what I mean? He had a little bit of time off. Obviously, he'd done his cruise shit, but he was fine after.
Did he ever play?
Like, not really, nah. Like, he was just in the youth team and that, do you know what I mean? But it was mad because, like, Julian got, like, he got sacked from us. And then he ended up signing for Northampton, Northampton were higher than us in the league at the time, so he got a better move. But then he got suspended from football to the end of the season. I think about February, so he ended up getting, like, basically couldn't play from February to the end of the season. But imagine that happened now, man. Like, you ain't never playing again. You're done. Do you know what I mean?
Did he out up with police then?
No, I can't remember. Like, I'd be lying if I said. I think he must have got in a little bit of trouble. It's crazy, but people that don't know how certain dressing rooms worked and that, like, to say that sounds so wild. But like I said, when you grew up back then, certain things, like even like little racist banter and that, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it was just, you kind of had to accept it to a degree, do you know what I mean? I used to see certain things and certain comments of coaches and that, and you just kind of have to accept it to a degree, do you know what I mean? But it was part and parcel of football at that time. Changes.
Madness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fucking hell.
It was crazy, that was, man. From when Graham Ricks was there then, I was just kind of like, I wasn't playing or nothing. And then our youth team, he got the chop, and then our youth team manager took over for a little bit. And when he took over, that's when I got more of an opportunity again. And then that's when I felt like I had that confidence installed in me to start mixing it with men. And then the new managers come in at the time. He was from like Argentina or somewhere, Ramon Diaz. And literally, they just threw me in to start. And then as soon as they threw me in, I just went...
How was he? Because it was a bit of an experiment, wasn't it? Like, to bring him in... Because he was obviously he's a legend playing in Italy, Argentine international. Could he speak English?
Nah, like he had a translator. But he was cool, man. Like he was with me anyway, or like most of the players, he was cool. I really liked him. It was always dead good to me. Like I couldn't really knock them. Do you know what I mean? Like they give me like a good contract as well at that time. Like for coming from like whatever money I was on at the time, I was on nonsense money, and they give me a really good contract, and played me all the time. So I've only got positive things.
So you're always going to like them if they played you, don't you?
Yeah, like literally, they looked after me massively, and then obviously that's how the Verona thing come around.
So when you're in the first team, how well are you doing?
Doing quite well at the time. Like I scored probably about 6 or 7 in about 11 games or something like that. And then like Charlton tried to buy me. They was in the Prem at the time. They tried to buy me in the summer. I went away with Wales, and Brian Flynn pulled me, and he's like, "Listen, like I've had somebody on the phone about you. They want to put in a bid next week." And I was like, "Who?" And he's like, "Oh, Alan Kirbishy at Charlton." And I was just like, I started laughing. I was like, "Are you really serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "They've watched you. They want you," type thing.
And how old are you here?
18, maybe just 19 at the time. 18, 19.
Are you thinking Princey's back? Back in the big time?
No, I just thought to myself, like, at the time, like, to be fair, I never normally believe something until it's happened. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of them that gets...
excited about
yeah,
it.
like, when it's done, it's done. Do you know what I mean? And I was right not to get too excited because the chairman was being a bit of a div, and it didn't end up happening. And then the worst thing was, the Argentines went, and then they appointed Brian Talbot as the new Oxford manager.
Oh,
The head tennis
Head
kid?
tennis.
Yeah, mate. So I spent all my off season doing head tennis. No, I'm joking. I didn't. But yeah, he come in, man. He literally come in, like, and I was just like, fuck's sake, man. But now you're not as bad as he sounds, and this might be a little bit of an ego thing, but I thought, I'm not that same little kid now. Like I've played now. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't just brush me aside like that. Do you know what I mean? Because if that's the case, I can go.
And I'll get another club.
Yeah, I can go now. Do you know what I mean? So I had a little bit of a different attitude towards him. Do you know what I mean? But at first, like I bought into what he said. I tried to do what he said, but me and him just like, nah, man. He wasn't
Clash.
fun. He was a fucking clown, man. Out of all of my career, like I don't know somebody outside. I can only go off in work if I know you off in work.
yeah.
The biggest dickhead, yeah, like I've had as a manager. I just thought you're a dick. There's nothing.
But why though? What,
He was just a dick the way he used to treat people. Don't get me wrong. He had people like he brought a couple of his boys from Rushden in, and he loved them, and they spoke so highly of him. But I felt like they'd been on a journey together. So
You're in the clique.
yeah, like sometimes if you have that with somebody, it's different. But with me, man, like I was like, nah, man, like I just didn't like him. Like didn't like him. I remember pre-season, he turned around and he's like, it's gonna be a light day today. He's gonna be a light day today. All you gotta do is just keep up with me. Listen, this guy, all my days.
Fit.
He was like a white Mo Farah. I'm not joking. I'm being deadly serious. This guy could run. I swear, ask anybody about him, yeah? He could run for days. He's like Forrest Gump. And I was
Tailed off.
I tailed right off. I hadn't really done that much running in the summer as well. Yeah, like me and him was just weren't getting on. Like, and at the time, I think he wanted somebody to like where the ball would come up and they'd hold it. Do you know what I mean? Like a big shot. I wasn't big like that then. Do you know what I mean? I just used to want to turn people and run at them. And obviously he didn't really like that. And yeah, we just didn't hit it off.
It's lucky that you've had a few games under your belt, though, isn't it? Where
That's
you're
what
in
I'm saying.
a good position.
So now I didn't really care. They just knocked back bids from Charlton, so I was just like, I don't really care if I don't get on with you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
There's other
thing.
options out there.
I'm still gonna give everything. But if you're not given that opportunity, then do you know what I mean? What am I actually supposed to do?
There's a comfort there, isn't there? You know that there's other options.
Like worst case scenario, I'm gonna go to a team probably that's higher than Oxford at the time. Do you know what I mean? Because they've just knocked back bids from a Premiership club. So I just thought to myself, like, nah, like, I'm all right, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I still went into work, still trained hard, still tried to get in the team when I wasn't playing, but you know it's like sometimes
you just can't.
You can't
win,
yeah,
can you?
It doesn't matter.
Like you said, they've knocked back offers from Charlton. So how on earth do you end up in Serie B?
Because the people that are trying to take over the club, and Ramon Diaz, their friend was in charge at Verona. And he was like, I want to come back and I want to get you. But he'd always turn around and he'd say he was going to take me to France. So I was just like, kind of like at the time, I was just like, all right. like whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, didn't think it was going to happen until one of the guys called me up and he was like, listen, like, they're coming to watch you like on Tuesday. So just be ready. And then they come to watch you on the Tuesday. I done well. Come to watch you on the Saturday. I done well. And then they put in a bid, whatever. And then Brian Talbot just wanted the money. Do you know what I mean? He didn't really want me there. I was thinking, I don't really want to go to Italy. Do you know what I mean?
Were there other options at that point?
Not really at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was probably the best option. There's a couple of other little things at the time. Like, there was a shout like of maybe like Sunderland and whatever, but it's just shouts. You know what I mean? This is the only concrete thing. And I don't want to be here with this guy. Can't stand him. I've had to put up with 5 months with him. Thought to myself, nah, like, I need to go. So I went to Italy just to look around, and they just took me to the stadium. It like holds like 40,000 or whatever. Showed me the training ground, showed me the city.
Told you the dream.
Yeah, like, and obviously like the contract was much better. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like,
Challenge.
I just thought to myself, I don't really want to go. I've never really been further than an hour and a half away from home. But like, I don't like this guy either, so I kind of need to do it. But I don't want to go over there and be forgotten about.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do you know, like, I went there and I thought, do you know what? Just back yourself. I've gone there. The first 2 or 3 weeks was cool. They was trying to like bed me in, but because I'd already played, I was like, I'm ready. I want to play. They was trying to bed me in. Do you know what I mean? Training, trying to get me used to the way they play and whatever. And I just wasn't really having it. And I was just like, nah, man. I felt homesick. I'd never been that far away from home, and I felt like I was missing out on just life in general, and I probably wasn't, do you know what I mean? But at the time, obviously, I was young, and I was just like, nah.
Struggle in the dressing room, like, because I can imagine,
do you know what?
were there many
do you know
English
what? To be
speaking?
fair, yeah. Do you know what the funny thing was? They told me about how much of an amazing club it was, right? And they was like, yeah, it's amazing, it's amazing. So then my first game, that I was on the bench for, right? I'm there, and I'm like thinking to myself, the fans coming late here. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, what? Like, it's like 2:15. There's no fans in. They must just let them in at like, I don't know, 2:45 or something. Do you know what I mean? It's a big stadium. So I said to like one of the guys that could like kind of like spoke decent English. I said, "Oh, bro, where are the fans?" He's gone, "Oh, no, they didn't. No, come today." I was like, "Why?" He's gone, "Oh, last game, couple games ago, racial abuse." I was thinking, "What the fuck? Where have I come to?" I thought, "Shit."
So the fans were banned?
Yeah, they was banned for racial abuse in the place. I was like, "What the fuck?" They didn't tell me this. I was thinking, nah. So I was just like, "What the fuck?" But to be fair, I was over there. When I was over there, nothing like that. Like, I never heard nothing. I always got like a lot of love in the city. Do you know what I mean? When I was there, but I was just homesick, man. Like, I was just like.
Were you living with somebody else, living on your own?
So at first they put me up in a hotel, but then I was in the hotel for about 6-7 weeks, and I got an apartment, and I was there for a couple of like weeks on my own. I was just like, nah, like. But obviously it just gets lonely. Like I said, there was no social media then, so literally no really online gaming. I think that's when online gaming kind of first come. So it's just phone calls, and then I'd ring my friends on like a Saturday night, and I'd be watching flipping iRobot on the telly in Italian, and my boys are like, "Yo, we're going here," and I'm just there like, "This is."
Did you never sneak out? Did you never go out in the city then over there?
Just to eat, really. I went out on nights out to Milan twice, which was crazy. It was good, man. Like good night out, but not really. It was just mainly restaurants and that type of stuff that I went to.
Thing is, I'm sat here thinking it sounds fucking unbelievable getting
Yeah.
to move out there and that. But I imagine at that age,
Yeah.
I'd probably have been the same.
But that's what
Really.
I'm saying. Like you're looking at it as like a man. You know what I mean? At the time I was a boy. Do you know what I mean? And then I was close to my family. Just being that far away from them, I'd never really even though I was away from a young age. You know what I mean? I wasn't that
could always
far.
get home.
My
There's
mum
no
could
one
always
to
pick me up. I could always jump on the
experience it with either.
There
But
was no Tinder either then. I'd have been
Yeah.
fucked.
nah.
I'd have been fucked.
Would have been the language barrier then. Like, to be fair, like they had me doing Italian lessons like twice a week and that. Like, but
Did you pick it up?
a little bit at the time. But it was just the boys. To be fair, in the changing room, you had like a percentage of them in there that would try with you, and a percentage in there that would leave you alone. But I always found like that made me better when I come back to England, because whenever there was a foreign player come,
You knew how
I
it
knew
felt.
how he felt.
Yeah.
So I'd always make more of an effort than if an English boy come in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, do you need anything? Are you good? Like, let me know. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like through my career, I was always really good with the foreign boys like that, like to just make sure that they're all right, because I know that it meant so much to me when the Italian boys would do that to me. Like, oh, do you need anything? Like there's a guy there, in the team, Aurelio. He couldn't speak English for shit, right? But he used to love me. And he was like, tell him. And then one of the boys was like, he wants you to go down to Napoli for the weekend and that with him. And I'm thinking, I can't even speak the same language, but he used to buzz off me. I used to buzz off him. I didn't know what the fuck he was saying.
Going away for the weekend with somebody you can't actually talk to.
Like he was from Napoli. He's like, my family want to meet you and that. But like his energy vibe was good, man. I used to like him, but I don't know what the fuck he was saying. He could have been like this silly cunt here. But he was
I'll
good.
take him to Napoli and just leave him for 2 days.
Serious. But he was great, man. Like, and I always thought to myself, when I come back, like I'll make more effort with people when I come back. And then I made the decision, and I was like, I just turned around and I said, I've had enough, you know. I said,
After how long?
probably about 4 months. But I'd signed like a 5-year contract or something like that. It was like 4.5 years, I think I'd signed. And then I was like, I've had enough. Like I said, I can't settle. It doesn't seem that long, but when you're constantly like kind of isolated, it feels like
an
ages.
eternity.
It feels like that felt like more like a year. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought to myself, like, like I need to go home. Like I want to be at home. So
Was it all right with you about that?
Nah, they tried to dig their they tried to dig their heels in. Like the guy as well, like the guy that not the manager, the recruitment.
President.
Yeah, like no, the guy that recruited the players. He was like, nah, like you're not going and that, and I'm like, I'm going, and he's like, nah, you're not going. But I had a good relationship with him, so it wasn't even a disrespectful thing where I was like, nah, fuck you, I'm going. I'm like, nah, listen, I said I'm struggling, like I need to go. I need to go home, and he's like, no, you can't. I was like, listen, I'm going, you know.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, like, he's like, let me
telling you,
do.
It's on his toes, but
Like-
he's told them that we've got one here. He's gonna take us.
Yeah, like he turned around and like he turned around. He's like, no. To be fair, he did believe. Like he invested a lot in me. He was like, listen, I believe in you. And I was like, I know you do. That's why I don't want to disrespect you, because I know like you've given me a good opportunity. I can't. I'm not mentally strong at the moment enough to deal with it. Like I'm not grown up enough. And then he was like, nah, you can't go. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll dig out for a couple of days. A couple of days went past. I was thinking, I'm booking a flight home now. Just booked the flight home. Just jumped on the plane.
Just went?
Yeah, just went. And I told him. I left him a voice note. Like,
Oh well.
I just left him. I left him.
I'm just
No,
at the airport, I'm off, bye.
Ciao.
I told him, do you know what I mean? I went in his office and I told him, and I had the conversation, and I said, listen, and it just got too much for me, and I just felt like, even if I have a couple of days at home and then I come back, but then I got home and I was like, nah, like I need to come back, man. I want to be at home. Like the funny thing was, I come back and went alone to Wolves. But when I went on loan to Wolves, they made me sign an extra year, so I didn't lose out on that year. Do you get what I mean?
So they still wanted you for the...
Yeah, like, so to still want me for the 4-year period. So
they really did believe in you,
yeah,
didn't
like, he
they?
believed in me. Like, he was good, man. He was really good, like he was really good. But luckily enough, like, when I wanted to get out, like, properly, after the year at Wolves, like, when I wanted to get out of the Verona contract, he'd left. So then the president or the person that come in, the recruitment guy, was just like, yeah, fuck yeah, like, you can, like
off you pop, son.
we'll get a little bit of money for you and you can go. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, cool, that's cool with me. But the guy that loved me off went to Juve. Because remember, there was all that corruption thing, wasn't there, with Juve? So obviously he got on to Juve, and then obviously...
You were not open for the call?
Nah, I'm not homesick no more.
Honestly, Italy is like my second home. It's my second home. I'm at home now doing a spag ball. Honestly, it's fucking mint.
Yeah, man. Like, literally, like, he went... Because obviously there's a corruption thing, so they got relegated, didn't they, to... After they go to Serie B?
Yeah.
No, they went
right to the bottom,
they
didn't
go
they?
to C or B? I think they might go to C, yeah. So they went to C, and he went... Obviously, it was a good opportunity for him. He went to U. Nah, did they go to C? I'm sure it was Serie B. I'm sure it was.
Still, though. Is he still there now, do you know?
Oh, I don't know. I ain't got a fucking clue, man.
He might fucking take you back.
Oh, mate.
That's what all is forgiven.
That's what Kit man.
Honestly, I'm ready for that new challenge.
I was Mick with you.
Yeah, Mick, man. Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing but good words to say about Mick. He's probably one of the best managers I've had. Probably the most honest manager I've had.
Did you have a good time there?
I did. I felt like I could have done better. I don't think until I probably got to about 23, I probably grew up properly and started realising that the opportunity I probably had in front of me. Do you know what I mean? It got to the point where
you've been lucky then, really, haven't you, to make it to that age without realising? Because some lads who...
Don't get me wrong, when I was on the training ground...
fall by the wayside
I'd graft.
before then.
I wasn't somebody that would be on the training ground and be like, oh yeah, give me the ball if I lose it. No, like, when I was on the training ground, I would put it in, do you know what I mean? I loved football, do you know what I mean? I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was everything to me. But I'm on about like, just like little things like eating right, going to bed, not going out, doing the right things. I don't think that I realised certain things until I probably got to a point where I'd slipped. And then by the time I got to about 23, I was so scared then that I was going to slip out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then that made me feel like, oh, I'm going to slip out here of the Football League. You need to grow the fuck up. And that fear probably drove me back on to push myself back up. And it did. Do you know what I mean?
Going back to Mick, do you think... I speak about him a lot, but do you think he had it down to a T, you know, the tough love, where you could kind of tell that he likes you, and what he's saying to you, he's saying it because he likes you and wants you to improve and stuff? Yeah,
like I got on well with him. Like he's somebody that I would always speak highly about. Even like years later when I've played against him and whatever, I've got so much respect for him. He's such a nice guy, and like he was just always so honest with me. And you know, in football, like you don't get that. Do you know what I mean? People will say they're honest, they're not. They're not fucking honest. Half of them are snakes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Half of them will snake you in a second. But he was just pure with me.
Did he ever have to get you back in line?
Yeah.
Like, if going out and whatever?
Yeah, a couple of times. Like he got me in line. I got in trouble for smashing the camera. Got in trouble for smashing the camera. And he was like, he rang me in the morning. He's like, why the fuck are the press asking me about you in a road rage incident, smashing the camera?
Well, go on, what happened? Taking a picture.
Do you know what? Like somebody basically, cut a long story short, it's a bit of nothing really, but basically somebody crashed into my car. So they've crashed into my car when I'm driving. It's late. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Got training the next day, and me and the guy start arguing, and his missus is there piping up, calling me a dickhead, whatever, blah blah blah, and then I'm saying like, it's your fault. Like, it's your fault. So I'm trying to get his details off him, but he's being an idiot as well. And then it's just getting heated. And then his missus just comes in my face to the camera and just gone poof, like that. I just grabbed the camera off her and smashed it. Do you know what I mean? On the floor. Just smashed the camera on the floor. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was stupid, but...
A good camera? Or like a...
Fucking hell, I had to pay enough for it. It was fucking... It's fucking one of them Polaroids, yeah, but she said it was some grand camera or something like that. I had to pay about £800.
Take a picture and wind it on.
No joke, fucking hell. My daughter had one of them when she was about 7. Fucking cost more.
You couldn't even take pictures underwater with it.
Serious, but basically, cut a long story short, she got the camera, she put it in my face and whatever. So I've not even grabbed the camera. I've more like swiped it out of her hand, it's smashed on the floor. And then I've just gone to the geezer. So me and the guys then started arguing more. He's getting heated. And I've said, listen, like, it's best I go in it. I think to myself, because the geezer, I understand, like, he's trying to threaten me now, like, because in the sense of, he's like, my uncle's a lawyer. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about your uncle. Do
you think he knows who you are?
I don't know, but this is the reason she's took the picture. Why are you taking a picture of me? Not you took a picture of the thingy. Yeah, I've swiped the camera out of her hand anyway, and it smashed on the floor. And I thought, fuck this, man. I thought, I'm getting in the car, fucking off. So I've jumped in the car, got off. They gone to the police anyway, and then they said, he stole my camera. So then it's come out, I haven't stole the camera, I've smashed the camera. So it's completely different. But normal police didn't turn up at my house. Like, robbery squad or something turned up. Like
dusting you down?
I can't remember, it wasn't robbery squad. It was something to do with, like, and I'm like, so they've knocked up, my mum's rang me, my mum's like, she's like, Craig, like, they've turned up, these are not, like, special, but she knew what happened. And I'm like, I haven't really, like, obviously I've swiped the camera out my hand, but I've not done whatever they've said I've done. Anyway, I've gone into the police station, the police officer's cool with me. He's telling me, he's like, I know what's happened, that's not what's happened, blah, blah, blah. Basically, you're just gonna have to pay for the camera. Obviously, Mick found out about it. He was fuming.
Bollocking.
But then he was just like, you play him on the Saturday? You know what I mean? He was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And I explained what had happened. And I was like, I shouldn't have done it. But it's happened. You know what I mean? And then, obviously, it probably sounds bad, but the world was different then, do you know what I mean? Now you even say something to somebody about something that they don't like and they're crying, do you know what I mean? But back then, I was offended that she fucking put this camera in my face anyway.
I was thinking, it was the lad when he was going, do you know who I am? Is it Pickering?
Yeah. Ronnie Pickering?
Ronnie Pickering.
And the thingy.
Ronnie who? Ronnie fucking Pickering!
with the cyclist. It wasn't like that, man. He was,
do you know who I am? I know you are. You just told me Ronnie fucking Pickering.
It was, he was cool with me, like, and I just think that's what it was. Like, he seen that I'd put it in. Do you know what I mean? And
somebody just knocked a camera out of his hand down the street.
I'd run all day for him. Do you know what I mean? And I think he knew that, and he was just like, "What are you doing? You need to." You could see certain things that I needed to kind of, and they did try to help me with certain things. You know what I mean? Like, but I needed to grow up myself, and I think, like, until you grow up yourself, people sometimes can give you all the advice that you want or whatever.
So you're ready.
Yeah, sometimes you need to yourself. Something needs to happen yourself, whether that's, you know, something happens in your family to somebody, a loved one or whatever, or just the penny drops, you might have had a baby or whatever. Sometimes it didn't drop for me until I turned 23, I don't think. And that was sheerly through the thought of going lower and lower and then being out of the Football League, and that scared me.
Was Bullfroyd at Wolves then?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I got on all right with Jay. We had a little bit of an argument once, but apart from that, like...
Talk us through
it. It wasn't about who could swim faster, a shark.
Nah, like, I think one time, like, the thing with Jay was like one of them people, like, he'd try and like... He was a good player. He was very good. Yeah. He was very talented, you know what I mean? And I got on all right with him, but he'd try and speak sometimes to some of the boys, like, he was going to do something to them. And one time we had an argument at the dinner table, and it was over something so stupid, and I just threw something at him, and I was just ready to
I hope it would have right up you threw it.
Nah, I think I just threw, like, I think it might have been like this, like, drink on the table, and I just banged at him, and I was, you know what I mean? And he come up to me after in the physio room, and he's like, but I was just like, listen, like, don't talk to me like that, do you know what I mean? Like, I actually like you like, don't speak to me like that, though, because I actually like you, but I'm not going to listen to your shit.
Certain level,
yeah,
people
like,
can push
don't get me
out.
wrong, like
it was to speak down to people as well.
That's what it was. That's what it was. It was the way to speak down. Like, he'd speak down, and there was a few incidents with him and other players and whatever, but I always got on all right with him. So I was just like probably offended when he tried to speak to me like that. I'm thinking like, nah, like, don't do that.
How did Mick deal with him? I can't imagine him being Mick's
Mick
type
tried to fight him one time, actually. Yeah. Nah, he tried to fight him one time. I think Jay must have like tried to give him attitude back, and Mick was like Mick's assistant Taff at the time. Him and Mick were similar height and that. And obviously Mick was a lot younger then. Do you know what I mean? Because I spoke to a few of the Ipswich boys about Mick. I think he kind of calmed down a little bit, but when he was at Wolves, like he was still
fiery.
Yeah, fiery. And I think Jay must have been like, oh, fuck off, or something stupid like that. And Mick just charged and Taff had to like stop him. He's like, don't fucking talk to me like that. Like, he got a Bentley, and I think Mick told him he had to sell it. When Jay got his Bentley, I think Mick told him he had to sell it.
Wow.
I tell you who did have on toast, Mick. I had him on fucking toast. Dave Wheater. He had him on toast. Dave Wheater. He had Dave on toast. Dave, yeah, shot from the halfway line against Southampton and never seen a Wolves shirt again. Never seen a Wolves shirt again, mate. I swear down. He shot from the halfway line, right? And he never seen that Wolves shirt ever again in his career. It was mad. That was Dave done there, I swear. He got bullied by Kenwyn Jones all game. I swear he said about it on his podcast when he done his. I think he said about Kenwyn Jones. I'm sure he did. Kenwyn Jones just absolutely fucking. He's a big boy, do you know what I mean? And to be fair, he would have done it to a lot of people. And Dave hadn't really played then, and then Dave come shot for 2-0 down. And Dave to be fair, Dave had a ping on him. To be fair, and he's just seen the keeper off his line, and he's tried to zing it, and it's almost gone out of St Mary's. And Mick was like, I've seen enough. And I'm not joking, I don't think he played again. I'm being serious, I don't think he played again.
Did he say anything to him, or was it just that washed his hands of him?
Do you know that certain managers you just know?
Tough, it's not happening, tough.
Do you know like it's just no. I just knew, like I was thinking, nah, he's fucked for him.
Get him over.
I don't know why that's tickled us so
To be
much.
fair, yeah. Dave was done with me from when he turned up with an Astra with spinners on it. Chrome spinners on his Astra. And he'll deny it. He'll be like, nah, there wasn't. Listen, he turned up here with gold spinners on his Astra, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? If he had a Hummer, yeah, I would have been like, yeah, like, this Astra, yeah, convertible thing. I was like, nah, this guy's got to go, man. This guy's got to fucking go.
A little break in play, gents, for a thank you to our sponsor for this episode, NordVPN. I don't know if you're aware of it. Are you aware of NordVPN?
No.
Well, for everybody out there as well, NordVPN is the number one for bouncing your geolocation. So maybe a game's only on in China, for instance, and you want to watch it, Barnsley v Nottingham Forest, all of a sudden use NordVPN on the subscription, and you're in China watching that game, John.
So let me just get this right. So I'm sat in Barnsley.
Yeah.
There's a game on in China.
It's been shown in China.
But an English game
Yeah.
shown in China.
Yeah. Use NordVPN.
And that makes my computer seem like it's in China.
And you're watching that game. Sat there with a sweet and sour watching Barnsley v Nottingham Forest.
Well, I didn't even know. I didn't even know what a VPN were.
What's the quality like?
Oh, it's the number one quality for all VPN services as well.
Buffering?
No buffering. No, we don't do no buffering.
Sold.
And as always, we've got a special offer. We've got a Cosh code.
We always have special offers. That's why they call us the good guys.
All you're going to do is click on the link in the description and you'll get the special offer with anti-malware and threat protection as part of your subscription. So all you're going to do is click on that link. Before you know it, you'll be watching that game.
So just to clarify, I can watch any game.
Any game. Well, not any game that's being broadcast, yeah.
Right, perfect.
Yeah. How good's that? So,
What
yeah,
to-
massive thanks to NordVPN.
Yeah, thank you. And what game am I going to watch this weekend? That's my only problem in life now.
So when you talk about Mick's honesty, obviously they didn't sign you after the loan. Was that something that he just sat down with you and said?
Yeah, I'd played more the first half of the season, probably till about February time, and then he brought in Andy Keogh in the January that had done quite well at Scunthorpe, and he just played him a lot. He just done well, and then I think he just he got a little bit of money in that summer, and he was just like, I'm just going to go down a different route. And I was fine with that. Do you know what I mean? I respected him so much for that. Like there's only certain managers that I can honestly say that about. Do you know what I mean? But he's one of them, and I respected that. And sometimes I feel like you could possibly leave somewhere and be a little bit bitter about it. I left there with no bitterness, and I always wanted them to do well. I think they signed Freddie Eastwood when I left. They paid the money for Freddie Eastwood. Obviously, he'd done quite well. And then they was just like, I was cool with that. Do you know what I mean? I went to Oldham.
So are you, by the way, is there any point from leaving Wolves you're thinking, I might have to go back to fucking Italy here? I've got a 4-year deal in Italy.
No, because I knew that at the time. I knew that Oldham wanted me. Shez was there. We'd played them in the cup, and I'd done really well. And at the time, I was like, kind of like, ideally, I wanted to stay in the Championship. But Oldham had just missed out on the playoffs. They got to semi-final. So I was like, I'm cool with that. I'd probably prefer to go in as the main man at a top League One team than to just be a bit part player in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? I knew I could play there, but at the time, I thought, I've got time on my side. Yeah. I can go somewhere, and hopefully, if I go there, they was willing to pay the money that Verona wanted, and Verona were cool to take a little bit of money. Like, they wasn't asking for a lot, but obviously, because the new guy had come in, so I was just like, I'm cool with going to Oldham. You know what I mean? The manager seems keen, and like I said, when the manager seems that keen, that makes you a little bit more like, yeah, like, I want to go there. You know, if the manager's a little bit, because I've spoke to managers before, I'm sure you have spoke to managers before, and it's like, we'd want to... I remember I spoke to, what's your man's name? Gary Johnson at Bristol, when he was at Bristol City. Mate, he was talking like I was about to sign for Juve. I was like, bro, like, you're a big club, like, but I'm like, nah, like, at the time I was like...
Come on, Jono.
I was like... He's like, if you come here, the way we do stuff, and I was like, nah, like, I'm like, chill, bro. I'm like, chill. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand, I'm not stupid. Like, some people don't watch football. Like, I grew up and I knew everything. Like I knew a lot. I knew players. I studied the game. Do you know what I mean? I knew players from League 2 to the Prem. Do you know what I mean? I knew more than most flipping coaches. As in the sense of, like, for players, I'd have debates when I was at Oldham with Tommy Wright about players. I'm like, he's a good player. And he's like, how do you know him? I was like, yeah, I've watched him a few times. I've seen, like, I knew players, you know what I mean? I knew the club. You didn't need to sell Bristol to me. I knew Bristol was a massive club. I knew everything that I needed to do, and I knew that probably, even though I probably wasn't ready at the time, I knew I needed to level myself up personally. But when I spoke to, like I said, when I spoke to Shez, I was like, nah, like...
Are you sold when you
How
meet him
did
first time?
Shez sell you the Oldham dream?
He's just like, you come here, you bang your goals in. You will bang your goals in, and you'll go and get your money elsewhere. You'll get a move. And I was just like, yeah. Like, and I could, sometimes managers don't really say that to you. They'll be like, he's like, listen, you not use this as a stepping stone, but that's what he's basically saying. He knew what I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to Wolves.
Bringing a bit of realism to the table.
Like, I wanted to go back to, not necessarily to Wolves, but to a team like Wolves as the main man, where they've paid the money for me and they're going to play me. And he knew that's what I wanted to do, and he was willing to give me that opportunity to showcase that by Oldham doing that and possibly firing them up as well. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't, you can still fuck off type thing. And I was just like, yeah, cool, man.
I can just picture him saying it with that accent.
Oh, mate, what a man.
See him saying it.
It's unique, innit? He's unique.
Some players probably can't handle him. But,
He said that himself, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but they're pussies, man. Like, seriously, I'll be honest with you. And shitbags. Like, you know, like, certain times, you need to, people need to realise, like...
Yeah, the truth.
They need to hear the truth. Sometimes football's a brutal game. It's not all roses. So sometimes you're gonna get told stuff that you don't want to hear. Shez will tell you stuff that possibly you might not want to hear, but it's real. Do you know what I mean? But he's the first one that'll help you as well. Do you know what I mean? So for me, if I've got a manager like that, like, I'll do anything for a manager like that, because I know that they've got my back and they want to help me. Do you know what I mean? Where some players can't see, and I could see it when I had flickers at Mansfield. He would try and help certain players. Them players couldn't see that he was actually trying to help them. And I'd say to them, you don't realise that you're going to get a next manager that'll come in and he'll be a fucker. And you don't realise, like, them type of managers, you have to try and do your best for. Yeah. You should always try and don't get me wrong, you should always try and do your best for the managers, but there's certain managers that you'll go that extra mile for. And he was one that I would go that extra mile for.
Can you remember any examples where you're having a rough time under him? And he stuck with you, or what he did?
The funny thing is, the first year at Oldham, me and him fell out massively, and I ended up fucking off. Do you know what I mean?
What was that over?
So the first year I'd done really well under him. The first year I'd done well and got injured in February, but I'd scored like 14 goals, and I got injured. I think at the end of January, the beginning of February, I got injured. But we was in the places when I got injured. So we was well on course to get in the playoffs, and I was well on course to getting 20 goals. You know what I mean? I think I needed to get probably 6 goals, and I had probably about 14 games to do it. Do you know what I mean? So I was out for the season, and then I've come back, and I think then he thinks that I'm going to hit the ground running and stuff. And then literally I've come back, and I've not really done that much running. I've come back unfit. But then when I start doing my running, my hammies are burning, which is natural, do you know what I mean? But I'm like extra cautious because I'd ripped the muscle off the bone. So it had been a bad tear. So I was a little bit more cautious. So he sided with me, but I'm somebody that when I play, I need to be at 90 to 100% fit. I can't be 70 or else I look like I'm playing for like the local pub. Like literally, like the difference, I need to be at 90 to 100. I can't play and I can't train at less. I need to be full tilt. And then we started the season, and he stuck with me for 2 or 3 games, and I was playing shit, and then I got sent off. We played Rochdale. Obviously, it was a cup game. McCordle, Rory McCordle, is it?
Yeah, McCardle.
Yeah. So I had an argument that basically he's come through the back of me with his elbow. And he knew what I felt like he might not have. That might just have been him. But I felt like he's tried to fucking smash me. So I'm chewing. The next tackle now, I've tried to leave a little bit on him. So he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's been a foul, but I've tried to. Do you know what I mean? I've tried to go through him. And then Nathan Stanton's come over, and he started talking shit to me. And I was just fuming anyway, because the back of my head is cut from the elbow. He's just come in my face, and I was just giving one of them side swipes. But you could do that. Do you know what I mean? You could kind of do that back then.
It's good contact, like. Was it one of them where it's wasted,
it was
really?
Shit, man. It was a year 8 headbutt at best.
Has he gone not in the right direction?
So, to be fair to Stano, yeah, it's funny because I hated him for years. But when I went to Scunthorpe on loan, he's a kit man there. He's fucking ledge, man. He's such a ledge guy. But obviously, in the game, he knew what he was kind of doing, winding me up. And that was his thing. And it was more for me. I was a dickhead for getting sucked in. So then...
substantial ban?
No, so literally it was only a 3 game.
Right.
So a 3 game ban. But we ended up just winning the game on penalties. Shez was raging. But then when I've been out of the team started doing well. He'd always kind of let me off and given me leeway because me and Lee Hughes, what a fucking man. He, the season before, me and him had got caught going out, and Shez knew we'd gone out. So we played Yeovil, and we was playing Gillingham on the Tuesday. We stayed over near Gillingham, and me and Hughesy were rooming, like you always used to put centre-half and centre-half together, right back and left back together, like to just form a relationship, 2 centre midfield together, me and Hughesy together. Obviously now, I'm a young boy, do you know what I mean? And that, kind of easily influenced at the time. Fucking Hughesy's a senior pro. But
Certainly with his Benson edges on.
Mad man, yeah. So he's gone, do you fancy going to London? So I've gone, we're in Gillingham, yeah. So I've gone, what, from here? And he's like, yeah. I was like, if you want, I'm on it, fuck it.
What day is this then?
So this is the Saturday night. So we travelled from Yeovil to Gillingham rather than going back up to Manchester and come back down on the Monday. So they just put the hotel up for an extra night. So we went to Gillingham. Me and Hughesy, they were all gonna watch. I can't remember what they was gonna watch in the lounge. I don't know if the boxing on or something was on. Where they all went. Obviously, Hughesy would normally be there. I'd probably be there. Me and Hughesy aren't not there. So obviously, a couple of the people have got into it. They've gone and checked our room or knocked the door or whatever. Me and Hughesy are not there. Me and Hughesy are on a taxi to way to London. Gone out. Me and Hughesy had a sick night. Got back about 5:30. And then the next day, went down for breakfast. Staff are just ignoring us, blatantly ignoring us. And I know that they know what's gone on. So this is the Sunday. the Monday, and I know Shez is bubbling. Do you know what I mean? I know he just wants to go off, and then he just pulled us on the pitch before the Gillingham game. You know,
on the pitch?
Yeah, he pulled us on the pitch, man.
Oh, so he's let it go until the Tuesday night.
I think he's tried to let it go. Do you know what I mean?
But he
Just can't.
I think he's tried to let it go because obviously, but between us, we'd scored quite a few goals. Do you know what I mean? And he just ripped into us on the pitch, both of us, me and Yuzi. And he's like, do you know?
Is it this? Like,
Nah,
on
like-
the pitch, is he keeping it reserved so fans can't see?
No, fans were in at the time because this is like an hour and a half before kick-off. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to go with yous two tonight, but don't fucking let me down. He's like, do you know how much faith I've got in yous, blah, blah, blah. And I felt like it just made me feel like I owe this guy, do you know what I mean?
It's made it
been
worse
clever,
because you've
Yeah.
disappointed him, haven't you?
Yeah. Like, you know what? Like, I can take a manager coming into me on a Sunday and laying into me and whatever and doing whatever, give me a fine, whatever. But the thought of it, sometimes like as like a parent, for instance, you know, like I remember like with my granddad, sometimes if I let him down, he wouldn't shout at me, just shake his head, and that was worse for me.
Disappointment.
I'd prefer him to come over and be like, you little fucker, grab me, rough me up a little bit, do you know what I mean? But that thought there of the disappointment, and Shez was disappointed, and I felt like he was disappointed, and he had faith in me, and he had faith in Husey, and obviously to give Husey a chance, you know, signing him, obviously after what had happened, and like he had faith in me to bring me into the club and you know, give me whatever shirt at the time, like 10 shirt, and be like, have confidence to be like, yo, you're the one that's going to push us up the league and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I just felt like I'd let him down, do you know what I mean? I was just like, nah, like I need to pay him back. And then we drew 0-0, but me and Husey both played really well, to be fair. And then it just kind of got swept under the carpet. And to be fair, that's one thing Shez is ledge for, to be fair. Like he doesn't hold on to stuff, do you know what I mean? He kind of just like, it's forgotten quite quickly, do you know what I mean? As long as, don't get me wrong, if I'd carried on and I'd gone on to have a beast for a couple of games and a couple of months, it might have been different. But like, it was never that. So he always kind of forgotten about certain things. And I played on the fucking Neil Lennon. He was coming down on people differently. He's looking to DDT motherfuckers in the change. I'm not even joking. Fucking hell. Seriously. I love Shez. Like, I love Shez. Like, literally, I've got so much time for him. I think sometimes though, he's got that old school way where he'd ignore you sometimes if you wasn't playing. Do you know what I mean? Back then though, because every time since that, I've had him twice more since that, and I've always played under him. But that was the time where I felt like he kind of like froze me, like kind of froze me out a little bit. So
you're more interested in his team that were playing on a Saturday than the rest of the lads?
Like, you know what I mean? So like, to me, that left, I was like, hold on, like I was like your main guy last year. And
is that because it hurt though?
Yeah,
because of that situation.
Like a little bit of both. To then when I'm walking past you, not saying nothing to me. I didn't like that. Like I said, I love Shez differently. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but that left a sour taste for me. So then I was like, nah, fuck this. I want to go. So then at the time, you could still go on loan. So I went on loan to Stockport. Ended up doing quite well at Stockport. Scored like 6 goals in like 11 or something like that. And then they dragged me back. So we went above Oldham in the league now. When I went on loan there, we was below them. We was like 11th.
Do you not feel it when they got that call dragging you back though, and you'd scored what 6 and 11?
Yeah.
You must have been thinking
12, I think it might have been.
You must have been thinking, you want me back now? I told you, didn't I?
Like, I was laughing, do you know what I mean? Because I was just like, but I wanted to stay at Stockport at the time because I was doing well. The lads there as well, there was all young group. It was really young. So we'd all go out together. We'd all do stuff together, do you know what I mean?
Good social.
Yeah, like you feel close so when you're like that. So like I wanted to stay. And I knew that they called me back because obviously what had happened, we'd gone above them. It looked like shit. Fans started having a little bit of a moan up. And then they called me back and I thought, all right, cool, I'm going to play now because they've not been doing great. And they just left me on the bench. And I was like, but I knew that Brighton wanted me and Brighton were willing to pay the money that they wanted to get me out. They was paying good money as well. So I went down to Brighton and things got left on a sour note with like Shez and whatever. I remember doing a shooting session with Tommy Wright's assistant. And I'm not joking. I was trying to miss on purpose. I was fucking about. I was blasting the balls wide. And you know when you're supposed to do stuff sharp? Yeah. I was just walking and I could see Tommy's getting wound up. And I was just like, the ball's coming. I just blast it over here. And I was doing it on purpose just to piss him off. because I was just kind of like, I felt a little bit bitter towards them. Do you know what I mean? I felt a little bit like salty. I was like, nah, like, fuck these guys.
Shez would have been like, fucking hell, that's why I sent him for the Stockport.
He was. I could see Shez was there, but Shez knew like it was kind of like I was gonna go, and they got a decent amount of money for me at the time as well. So I think a player's not playing anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I've gone, and I was like, nah, man, forget them, man, forget them. I've gone to Brighton, yeah, and when I say I've had the ultimate beast of all beasts, yeah, I had the fucking beast of beasts. I'm not joking. I've gone down there, I swear down. And I'd always been all right for like finding a net and that. And I just, when I went there, man, first game scored on my debut. After that, I don't know.
Just shite.
I just
didn't click.
It didn't click for me. I think there was so much going on there. I just felt like I couldn't do it. I couldn't put it together. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's mad because people are like, oh, like people that don't understand it. When your confidence goes, that's the first time. And I've always been quite a confident person. Do you know what I mean? Even if I was shit, like I'm quite confident that I'm the best
better
here.
next time.
Yeah, or I'll do well. Like there, I was just shocked, man. And I was like, I even found myself like shying away from the ball and that, and I didn't. That wasn't me. Do you know what I mean? I always wanted the ball and
Just shot to bits.
like I was just gone. Like I remember like playing Milton Keynes away, and I went through and I scored this goal every time. Do you know what I mean? Like every time I'd go through, I'd normally score this in training, and I just went through and I just put it over, and I didn't put it over by a little bit. Like it went over. I think it went into the Nando's behind the MK stage. I was like, yo, what the fuck? And the fans then were starting to get onto me, and I was just like, I never had it, and I was just like, wow, like I was just done, like I was just shot, and I was just like, it was just a time of my career. I just think to myself, like, and you had like at the time I had Mickey Adams, and Mickey Adams signed me, and he had the faith in me, and he was only there for the first 3 games, and then he got the chop. But like, yeah, like literally the ball's coming up, it's kind of bouncing off. Do you know what I mean? He wanted me to play that flipping John Carew, Emil Heskey role, and it wasn't me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't me. Like where they could get hold of the ball and bring others into play at the time. It just wasn't in my makeup. And yeah, I just had a fucking stinker. And then I knew I wanted to go in the summer, and I was going to sign at Port Vale, Rochdale, or Chesterfield. But you know what it's like when you've not scored in a while. Like you start to like
Question yourself a bit.
yeah, like obviously I needed to go kind of somewhere, and I needed to make sure. I just felt like that's when I think I started to grow up now, where I was like kind of like I got to the point and I was like, listen,
This is the point.
yo,
This is
I'm
the
thinking,
trigger.
yeah, 23. I've seen people slide out at 25. That's not me. It's not going to happen to me. I'm not going
Are you
to.
still only 23?
Yeah, I'm 23.
Fucking hell.
So I'm 23. So I thought to myself, Chesterfield was there. Shez was calling.
The Messiah.
So I thought, fucking hell, shall I go and fuck up their shooting drills again?
Can you remember the first conversation you had with him?
Do you know what the mad thing is? I didn't even have a conversation with him. I didn't have a conversation with him. My agent was like, listen, they're going to give you this. I want to sign you a year. And I was just like, yeah. I turned around and I was like, and I said at the time, I said to them,
You're not like what, Chesterfield with Shez.
no,
Like
I was
after
just,
you just had the fallout with
I
him?
just thought to myself, I know him, I know what he's like. Do you know what I mean? If he wants to sign me, he can't be
That bitter.
in
not
his
holding a
feelings
grudge.
about, he must be like, cool, it is what it is. And I
on.
thought to myself, like, I know what he expects from me. And at the time as well, you know, if you're a little bit late, but you're doing all right, Shez don't really care. If you're going on a night out, what you're doing all right, Shez don't care. Do you know what I mean? And I thought to myself, like, now I'm really want to commit to what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? So I need somebody that's going to be a little bit lenient with me, but still understand me at the same time, because sometimes it's about understanding people. You can't have 25 players. They're not all going to be the same. You're going to have different egos. You're going to have different personalities, etc., etc. And I said it at the time, I said, I'm going to go there. I'm going to score 20 goals and I'm going to get moved to the championship. And that's what I said. I said to my agent, I turned around to him and I said, listen, that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I need to do this now. If I don't do it, I'm not going to do it.
23 goals.
So I went there. Yeah, I ended up scoring 25, but there was 23 league. Yeah, there was league. The other 2 were cup. But I went
Don't count
there
them.
and literally that exactly happened. Like literally it just happened. Like,
So you and Shez back to best buddies again?
yeah, like literally like, and I just started scoring and we sat on top of that league from the October And we almost fucked up towards the end, like where Berry almost caught us. It was
Is
a
this
good.
the time when he got the letter, maybe?
Yeah.
Fan writing
When
the
Berry
letter.
beat us to, we should have, if we'd have won, we lost 3-2. Tight because they're going for the promotion. We're going for promotion, and we should have beat them, man. Fucking roasted them up that day as well. Honestly, I had a serious game that day as well. Yeah, I had a stick. We played Oxford on the Saturday and been promoted without playing, and I played an absolute stinker. Poor Jewel come to watch me for Ipswich, and they wanted to sign me. My agent was talking to him beforehand. Come to watch me at Oxford. Went quiet. I had a fucking beast, man. Fucking beast. But then the Monday, played against Bury, and I had a stormer. Scored. And yeah, man, we got promoted. And I felt like that was the year that properly put me back on track. So I remember thinking to myself, like, if I don't... It sounds silly, and I don't want to be disrespectful with what I'm saying, but I remember thinking, I could be in a conference this time next year if I don't book up my ideas. Got 1 year left, and I think that fear of that just drove me the other way.
So are you eating properly now then, and you're not going out and that, or?
Nah, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of them people that fucking goes out all the time, do you know what I'm saying? But like, there's times for it, do you know what I mean? And just kind of like, I just felt like I just got everything kind of in line. I was still going out at times, like anybody, not more than, I was never really part of, like, I know a lot of players are Tuesday club and that was never really me, do you know what I mean? But I was more like, on a Saturday night, I'll go out with my boys, do you know what I mean, and my friends. But I just kind of got it in line, and I was like, all right, everything was just a little bit more thought about. I was resting a little bit more. And I'm sure Shez would say I shouldn't have been at that level then, do you know what I mean? I was too good for League Two, do you know what I mean? But I just needed that consistent run of games to get a little bit of confidence again. And
The manager that believes in you.
I think that's it. I think it comes down to the manager.
Yeah.
I think you've got a manager there that believes in you.
Believes to give you them
Gets the best
games.
out, yeah.
You get them games, then you get in a routine of scoring, etc., etc. And then that's exactly what happened. It ended up being probably, when I look back on my career, that's one of the most memorable years, man. It was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Like, got promoted, finished as top scorer. It was just, I felt on top of the world. Do you know what I mean? It was a good year. Do you know what I mean? We had a good set of lads as well. And I'm grateful for so many of the people, the club, and Shez. Like I said, it was funny because I felt like Shez used to shout at me to get a reaction off me because he knew then
You could take it.
if he pissed me off, it'd make me angry. And then when it'd make me angry, I'd want to show you, fuck
What you can do.
You know what I mean? I remember there's actually a clip on YouTube, right? We played Macclesfield right at home. And Shez is there. He's in the change room. Like, I've done all right. I've not done shit. Do you know what I mean? I know when I've had a stinker. I'm not a deluded person. I'm in the change room, and he's gone, he's come into me and he's gone, he started having a go at the group, but nobody individually. And he's like, and you, tell your fucking agent to stop touting you around. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck's that got to do with, what's that got to do with now? And then he's like, yeah, if you don't want to be here, you can fucking go at the end of the season. Straight away, I'm on my back. I start like going back at him. I'm fuming. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? So we start arguing in the changing room, and he walks out. I'm just angry. Go out in the second half. I'm charged up, right?
I can just imagine Shez walking out going, I've got him again. I've got him. Watch this now. Watch this now.
I've gone out.
What's this, Tommy?
After about 10 minutes, I must have picked up the ball near the halfway line. I just ran, cut back, and just bent it into the top bin. And I've ran off, and I've gone to run to celebrate with the fans, but then I've realised I'm annoyed, yeah? And I've just turned, I've ran, I started running towards him, yeah, but I'm running at him, yeah, to have a go at him. You can see the clip on YouTube. And I'm like, shouting at him, going, fucking... I'm like just effing and blinding at him now. And then he's buzzing, and he's like, come here. And then one of the boys dragged me, but I'm fuming. I'm not looking to give you a hug.
You're not going for the hug?
Nah, I'm raging. I'm still
that's the moment for forgiveness, isn't it?
I'm still proper angry. So after the game now, yeah, it played on my head all game. So to the point where you can see my face on the clip, yeah. Dean Holden's got me. And he's like, he gave away the penalty, so he's thanking me, but he's kind of grabbed me by the neck and that. You can see my face, I'm annoyed. And then after the game, you can see on the same clip, one of the boys has got his arm around my neck, and you can see that I'm still kind of pissed off, like...
He's having a word
yeah,
with you,
he's like, listen, he does it because... But I'm not riled up, but we won 2-1, do you know what I mean? And it got the right reaction, do you know what I mean?
What's it like in the dressing room after?
Oh, I was fuming. But then Shez will come in and he'd be like, listen, you know why I do that? Blah, 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 blah. But I'm still annoyed at the time, so I don't want to speak to you, do you know what I mean? So, no, but I'm still sitting there like, I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. But do you know what? Like, but it's the truth though. Like, he'd annoy me. He would piss me off to a different level.
He knows what he's doing though.
But
Puppet master.
But I had that love and respect for him that I would just be like, I'd be annoyed and I'd go back at him. But even when I'd go at him and I'd say some random shit to him, I always had the level of respect for him, and I always had the love for him. It was never like, you know, sometimes with your parents or whatever, you can say certain things, but it's not because you don't respect them or you don't love them. You've got that love for them, do you know what I mean? I had that love, and I still have that love for him, and I hope he smashes it this season. Like, obviously, they've won however many in the last couple of games and whatever. He's got them at the bottom two. Hope they stay out, man. I want him to do well. As much as I think the owner's a prick, do you know what I mean? Like, I love Shez, do you know what I mean? So, yeah.